What's up, guys? I'm Baymaxx, and this is Baymaxx TV. What if I could just go back in time? At what point in time will I go back to? What would I change? Can I handle the repercussions? Before I answer those three questions, let's go back to the very first moment. I was a big kid. I was born in Quezon City, but eventually my family moved to the south. And after 27 long years, I'm still here in Las Piñas. At a very young age, I wasn't that jolly as a kid. I was the quiet type that loves food. So, quietly, I became that chubby kid you see in preschools. And early on, I didn't have that much friends, unless it was a family friend or a classmate or two. I loved Saturday morning cartoons. Since I was 4 years old, I was into like Power Rangers, superheroes in general. I love those kinds of stories, growing up. And one memory I can remember up to this day was the fights I had when I was in the last year of preschool. It's petty kid fights, I had a fight with a classmate over a toy. It was probably show and tell, and kids fight about toys. I had a fight with a first grader. That was interesting because the first grader was bullying my brother. My brother is 2 years younger than me, so by that time he was only in nursery and I was in prep. So from what I remember that happened was, there was a playground at school and we were playing, me and my brother. And these first graders, a group of them, probably 5 of them, started just bullying other kids, ganging up on them, saying stupid things. And finally, they were teasing my brother. He was in nursery. He was a small guy. If I was chubby, he was the thin kid, a small thin kid. So if I remember correctly, I stood up to them. There were no punches thrown. I was able to talk them down, at least. And reminiscing about that, I realized that it was actually the first time I encountered a bully, or bullies for that matter. It was an experience. That's why I still remember it to this day. Another significant memory is I remember having a crush on a classmate in kindergarten. She was, I think, half Japanese. And if I can remember correctly, it's so cringe and it's so like, it gets me uncomfortable nowadays thinking about it. But I remember kissing her on the cheek. I don't know how many times, maybe more than once. But I also remember my mom and I giving her and her, I think, yaya, a ride home. But I don't remember where it was. All I remember was saying hi to her. And I was in the passenger seat and then looked at her from behind me and saying hi to her. And then that's the last memory I remember. If she was able to watch this, her name was Junko. But that's the only thing I remember. No last name. It's kind of weird that I don't remember the last name. Or at least maybe because I was a kid, it wasn't important for me. All I know is that her name is Junko. I don't even know the spelling. Junko, if you're watching this, since social media is already big now, I hope you're doing well, and I hope I get to meet you in our adult lives at some point. I don't know, I always wondered what it would be like to meet the people you've met when you were younger. That would just be like kind of fulfilling in a way. In my elementary days, I was like, I don't know, I just continued becoming the chubby kid, I guess. But for my age, I was like maybe from 8 to 12 years old. I was kind of tall for that age. Maybe I grew up to like 5'4", 5'5" by the time I was 12 years old. And what I'm saying is, I'm taller than most. I remember not doing so well in school, specifically in math and science. and maybe history. And I remember needing to go to remedial classes, or also known as after school classes, just to catch up on the current classes that you have for that school year, so you won't have to do summer school. And I was glad I only needed to do it for my science class. I remember that I started playing basketball as well in the 5th grade. I fallen in love with the sport. I was playing on the street with the neighborhood kids, and then I found out there were tryouts for the basketball team at my school, or the elementary basketball team. But then I wasn't able to try out because I didn't think I was good enough. So another school year passed, and then by the 6th grade, I waited for the tryouts to open, and then I got in. I said, oh, okay, this is it. But that was just the start of something that became my passion when I was younger. I also remember that we actually won that year in my 6th grade. We won gold, and I don't know where my gold medal is. I should find it, And so because of that basketball experience, I think I've lost some pounds. Well, at least I remember I was thin around here, around my neck, around my cheeks. I can see my cheekbone, but I probably had a belly. High school. I was scared actually going into high school. I remember not being ready and thinking that I hope I can survive this phase. Because in my school, which is a Catholic school, it was a big campus, and then you had to walk within the campus to go to the high school building, which is a very big building. Yeah, going into high school, I was not popular. If we're gonna find a stereotype for me, I would have been the silent, chubby kid. Is that a stereotype? I'm not sure. So the first year, I didn't try it for basketball because there were a lot of good players, really good players, especially in the higher year. But by the 2nd year, when the seniors already graduated, because there were a lot of seniors in that varsity team, I tried out. So in 2nd year high school, I got in. I was one of the small forward, power forward, because by high school, the growth spurt of some students was really, I don't know what they were eating, magical mushrooms, but I don't know. But yeah, by that time, I wasn't that kind of a big man anymore. I remember that time I really had a great assistant coach. I remember having the best learning experience in basketball in 2008 when I was in 2nd year. So after that year, I became chubby again because of summer. And I remember one of my classmates that was also a varsity in our 2nd year asked me if I was going to try out again for that year. And I saw that a lot of them tried out for the team. And I always wondered, what if I also did? But my self-esteem was low. I wasn't that initiative. I wasn't that confident about myself. So I told my classmate that I wasn't trying out for the team. I was gonna focus on my studies, even though that wasn't true. So even though I didn't mean to say that I wanted to focus on my studies that year, I actually did focus on my studies for some reason. Maybe because I needed a fresh start in a way. So the 3rd year ends, and by October of 2010, I decided to hit the gym. I told myself, gotta get your life together, man. So I did. It was probably the worst 6 months of my life at that time. And I lost about 40 pounds within 6 months. It was an experience, it was a journey, it was fun. So since that was October of 2010, the school year hasn't ended yet, and so I was able to look good, at least during our graduation in March of 2011. I remember it was a good year of my last year in high school. Also, it was the start of a new dream, and I said I wanted to try acting. So right before I graduated, when we were looking for colleges or universities, I was trying to find a school that would help me in my passion. And at that time, I wanted to learn acting. I said, okay, let's give it a try. Let's give it a shot. Let's go for the big one. So I did. I first found the University of the Philippines in theater. But once I heard that you needed to undergo an audition to get into the school for that course, I said, this is bull. I came there to learn. And I understand that it's because it's the University of the Philippines, it's one of the great schools in the country. But, I didn't understand why. It's a learning experience. Why would you audition for it? So I said, I'm not gonna take that. I'm not gonna even take an exam. And I think at that time, that was one of the things lacking in our country, opportunities. I tried to look for other schools, but I couldn't find one. So I looked for a different course, a course that I thought would make me more comfortable. So I took on Hotel and Restaurant Management in De La Salle College of St. Benilde. Yes, it was quite pricey, but I told my parents this was probably the best school for it, and I wanted to take that course. So they agreed. They helped me, so I didn't waste my time in college. I didn't get honors. I wasn't a dean's lister. I wasn't the best student. I was average. I was focused on pursuing acting, so I didn't fail any of my classes. I just powered through. I enrolled in theater classes in PETA in Quezon City. It was not as fun as I'd hoped. It was challenging. Then college was coming to an end. I was graduating. But before that, I took my last practicum at Dusitani, Manila in Makati City. We were in the front office as doormen because at that time, that was the only spot for practicumers. It was one hell of an experience, good and bad. So they tried to absorb me after I finished my practicum, but I turned it down. They wanted to hire me as a front desk agent, but I saw how stressful it was in the hotel industry. Yeah, they're earning a lot of money, but I turned it down because I didn't want to be stressed, physically exhausted, mentally exhausted for a long period of time, and not being able to sit down for hours and hours, 6 days a week. I'm getting stressed just thinking of it. So I turned it down. I said, Miss, I'm sorry, but I really have to turn it down because I wanted to pursue a career in acting. That's what I said. I built up the courage to tell the HR manager that I didn't want to take that offer. I didn't regret it at all. I don't regret it. It's just crazy in there. Stressful, very stressful. It is not an ideal work environment for everyone. So after that happened, it's a good thing I was able to keep in touch with my friends in college, the group of people I was very close with, that formed a bond with, a long-lasting friendship with. And in 2015, I just put my foot on the gas and just pursued acting. In 1 year, I said, I need to do this. I knew at that time, at that young age, and I was turning 21, I knew that in order for me to be successful, I have to follow my dreams. I have to follow my passion. I have to do what I want to do. Because if I don't, there's a cost, and that is emotional stress, mental stress, and eventually physical stress. It will affect everything I've tried so hard to build. I've tried so hard to achieve, and everything I've learned up to that point would just go to waste. So I told my parents I wanted to enroll in a real acting school. So the best one that I've come up with was Star Magic workshops at ABS-CBN. It was the best out there. In these workshops, you have to enroll. It was the best acting experience I've ever had in my life. I finished it, got a certificate. I was really happy at that point that I was able to achieve that. It was not easy. I was not the best actor. I was still learning introductory acting. Made some mistakes, made bad decisions, pissed some people I didn't want to piss, lost some people. And afterwards, once I finished the workshops, I went on auditions. I was an extra in teleseries like Pasión de Amor, one time in Ang Provinciano, and in Home Sweetie Home. I auditioned for an indie film. However, we weren't able to finish it. I just hope we were able to so people can watch it, I think the writer-director who was making this indie film had a great idea for his film, he just didn't have the budget or enough budget for it, and maybe partly I've always thought that I was one of the reasons why, because at that time I didn't know how much I should be getting for my first job as an actor. Honestly, I didn't know how much I should ask for my talent fee. I even asked for advice from one of my theater teachers, and he said 3,000 pesos was his first talent fee when he started acting. I should have gone with that, and I really felt sorry about this. The film had potential. I just hope we could have finished it. There were great scenes that were shot, and I don't think it will ever see the light of day. I'm hoping the director, that I've also known for some years now, at least be able to get it out there in some way, shape, or form. I wanted to see how it looked like. We were, I think, past 50% of the movie, or maybe 60%. It was a great experience for me. It was a great learning experience. Our cast was great. Probably some of the best people I've met in my life. Most of them, they kept on acting. But after that, everything fell apart. For me at least. And at some point in late 2015, I had to stop to take a break and just unwind. And finally, by November of 2015, we went to South Korea with the family, with cousins, with everyone on my father's side. That's when I started loving Korea bit by bit and seeing their culture, enjoying every memory of that trip. It was the start of me loving their culture and seeing how they have a better livelihood than what we have here in the Philippines. By January of 2016, however, my dad got sick. He had a stroke. It was a struggling year for us. He was hospitalized, he was bedridden. By mid-2016, I had to get a paying job. And I knew in the back of my mind that it was not gonna help me pursuing my career path. I had to stop everything after that. And I was right. So I got a job in a customer service company that was hiring social media agents for an airline, a European airline. It was a new field. It was a very slow learning experience. I remember thinking during training that maybe I should give up on this. This will not get me anywhere. I'm still young. If I didn't pursue what I love, my passion, I'm not going to be successful. And history proves that. But I continued it because we needed the money. We needed the help that comes from that job. And I did it for 4 years and 5 months. And I hated it so much. The only reason I stayed there for that long is the people I've met. There are a fair amount of good people I've met in that company. And I made mistakes with some of them. Made mistakes in my department and made mistakes in my job as a social media agent, and I couldn't shake that. In my head. I couldn't forgive myself for acting the way I acted, for doing things the way I did, for reacting how I did. I let my problems get the best of me, and that affected a lot of people during that time. It was the dark age of my life, I would say. I wasn't able to say this with everyone I know, but since we're here, and I really wanted to get this off my chest for a long time now, by December of 2020, and this is of course in the middle of the pandemic, I wanted to quit. I already decided that I'm quitting this effing job. I didn't want any of it anymore. I've messed up with some of the relationships there. I've messed up my life for 4 years of staying there. So I wanted to quit in December of 2020 before Christmas. But my team lead convinced me to give it a little more time because a lot of us were actually quitting. So I waited, tried to do my best, but I had no motivation. I wasn't inspired at all working in that company. I wanted to be out of there. It's a good thing that I was able to buy my own computer for playing games or possible work from home options in the future. And by February of 2021, the company fired me. So if you're watching this and you know me, this is the first time you're hearing it. And getting fired from a stressful working environment, I wouldn't say it was a happy time, but I did feel relieved that I was out of there. I wanted out. It didn't go the way I wanted, but finally I was out. I was ashamed for telling everyone what happened. So I didn't tell everyone that I was fired. I told everyone that I quit. I quit the job because initially that was the plan. I did really want to quit the job, but I was ashamed that they would think that maybe because he's incompetent, or maybe if some of them already expected me to end up like that, they would actually think that, I knew he was a good for nothing person or something like that. I didn't want people to think that way, but now I don't care. I wanted out in the beginning. Being fired is not something to celebrate, but it should make us realize that it's a new beginning and you have to find something worth working hard for, because I wasted 4 years of my life there. I started at 22 and I got out when I was still 26. And now I'm 27, nearing 30, and I'm nowhere near successful. That 4 years only pushed me back. If you're in this position right now, I'm telling you, as early as now, if you're still young, below 25 years old, start doing what you love, because you will surely be more successful in doing what you love early on than actually just being an employee in a company. So because of that experience, I started my YouTube channel. I said if I'm not gonna be able to pursue acting anymore, I'm gonna do something that I also love doing, and that's making videos. And I learned as much as I can. Basic video editing, I'm still learning. I'm getting there, slowly but surely. And some of the people I know said that I should have started a long time ago. And I said, yeah, I should have. And I'm now just realizing that. Right now I'm just at home doing my YouTube videos, creating content, playing games, catching up with my friends from college, trying to learn as much as I can to improve my editing skills. It was a really great experience, and it made me grow more as a person, made me realize a lot of things I did, good or bad, made me appreciate more people, made me focus on just myself and what I wanted to do before I turned 30. And I can't stop, or else I'm just wasting my time. I want to have a better future, better than my parents have envisioned for us, and I want to break that cycle. So what if I could just go back in time? At what point in time will I go back to? I'd go back to 2015 after I get my certificate from Star Magic, before we go to Korea, and start my YouTube channel. And I would go on from there. Knowing what I know now, it would help with the startup. What would I change? I would change my family's lives. Maybe I would also prevent them from going to Korea in 2015, telling my dad to get a checkup and be healthier. Thinking about it, I wouldn't be able to meet some of the good people I've met in the company I worked in. But I think that would be one of the sacrifices worth taking. I wouldn't have made the mistakes I've made during that time. I wouldn't have met the people I've hurt. Although the good people I've met would be gone and they wouldn't know who I am. I probably wouldn't know who they were unless I've retained all my memories as a gift from time traveling. That would be good though. But it's a risk worth taking. But can I handle the repercussions? I have to. If you can relate to this, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more videos. Baymaxx out. Peace.